I am Paul Salvatori, and this is The Dark Room. I recently had the opportunity to interview distinguished American philosopher and professor Cornel West at Toronto's Ryerson University. He was present there for this year's Congress of the Humanities and Social Sciences, held annually in Canada to advance knowledge contributing to fair and open democratic societies. I've long been familiar with Cornel's accomplished work on race and politics. What intrigues me more, however, is the man himself, not only because of his impressive depth of knowledge, but calm, reasoned approach to what often feels like a maddening world. With jazz music playing in the background, Cornel's presence is nothing less than inviting. Even the way he observed me setting up the audio recorder reveals his naturally warm character.
Am I close enough?
Yeah, this will pick up well.
Oh, to pick up well. All right,
absolutely.
I kind of lean in just in
no
case.
Problem.
I lean in just in case.
I began by asking Cornel how he felt about where we, as a society, are in terms of fully grasping the harm or destructiveness of racism. It was awkward to ask him such a serious question following his pleasant greeting, but only allowed 5 minutes by the conference organizers to speak with him. I had to quickly get to the tough issues Cornel is well known for making sense of. His response, however, actually began on an inspirational note, so that feeling didn't last long.
Well, we got a slice of humanity, a slice of Canadians and USAers who are undergoing an awakening and fighting the vicious legacy of white supremacy. But you got, right-wing brothers and sisters who are succumbing. To become promoters in very explicit ways. So you got this major divide that's taking place, and it's in process, it's unfinished and incomplete. We'll see where it ends. But I'm very encouraged by young people undergoing this magnificent awakening around issues of injustice, not just of white supremacy, but male supremacy, homophobia, of predatory capitalism and its refusal to affirm the plight of the vulnerable. All of those, I think, are good signs. It's just that, there's a kind of neo-fascist wave that's running afoot across the globe, and that's extremely dangerous.
Wanting to know more about the unsettling hatred he identified, I asked Cornel whether he thought greed, insofar as one group's misplaced sense of superiority makes them feel entitled to even the dignity of others, is the cause of it.
This is again where philosophy plays an important role, because the love of wisdom is not just a cerebral quest, but it has to do with a maturation of the soul. So you have a certain kind of security. You don't need to put others down. You don't need to trash others in order to lift yourself up. You don't need to be so fearful of life that somehow the only way you can escape is by holding somebody else's life down. And that is very much an existential issue, spiritual issue, as well as political and economic.
Before our discussion ended, I had to ask Cornel what he thought about Rachel Dolezal, who we recently interviewed on The Dark Room. As a seasoned thinker about race, and of course an African American himself, I felt Cornel would be able to shine important light on the ethics of her identifying as black, though biologically white. And that's just what he did, reminding me that we can still advocate for others while respecting our differences.
Well, I love her moral commitment. Anybody fighting evil, I'm in solidarity with. I just don't think she has to in any way think that she's black in order to love black people. You see, I've got to love white people. I don't have to be white. I got to love Jewish folk. I got to love Palestinians. I got to love Italians, but I'm not Jewish. I'm not Italian. I'm not Palestinian. So that she felt that somehow, in order to be authentic, and to be part of the black freedom movement, that she had to pass for black. But I think her moral concerns were genuine. I think they were sincere, and I liked that very much. Is that right? I've never met her, but that's just what my perception would be at a distance.
I like how, as you'll hear, Cornel brings in the examples of rapper Eminem and jazz musician Bix Beiderbecke, both white, to illustrate just what he means. After all, we can genuinely and respectfully excel in cultures other than our own, without claiming we are thereby the particular race that has mainly characterized any one of them.
But I don't think you have to feel as if you got to be somebody. See, Eminem, who's one of the great, lyrical geniuses in hip-hop, he doesn't have to be black to know that he's in a black form and a major figure in it. Bix Beiderbecke was a white brother blowing the horn close to Louis Armstrong. He didn't have to be black in order to think that somehow that makes me closer to jazz. No, he's a human being. Louis Armstrong's a human being. Now, Louis is, genius of geniuses, and Beiderbecke is a great artist, but he's not at the level of Louis. He understood that. That's fine, because we are who we are.
Hearing Cornel say,
I can talk to this brother all day.
was for me, I admit, the most satisfying part of the interview. And so could I, Cornel, undoubtedly speak with you. It felt like we had only begun a wonderful discussion that ought to be continued in the future. Till then, thank you, Cornel.